Hello everyone, Miss Golding again. I'll be teaching you maths from now on. So today we're going to be looking at using arrays, but just to recap, we're going to go through what we were doing last week and actually for a little while now. So I have got some Numicon on my board. I would like you to have a go at counting up the Numicon now. Now remember, these are groups. So that's one group, two groups, three groups. How many have I got in each group? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my first sentence, there are equal groups of Can you fill that in? There are 1, 2, 3. There are 3 equal groups of 5 because I've got 3 Numicon there. So I've got 3 groups, and in my Numicon I've got 5 holes. So in my 3 groups, I've got 5 holes in each. Now, saying there are 3 equal groups of 5 is the same as saying there are 3 lots of 5. That is also the same as saying that 3 multiplied by 5. And then remember, just like if I was to say 6 add 7, I, instead of writing out the word add, could write the add symbol. When we are multiplying, and instead of saying 3 multiplied by 5, I can use this symbol here. Can you show me with your arms? Show me the times symbol. There we go. The multiplication symbol. So I can have that instead of the words and put in 3 multiplied or times by 5. There you go. I'm going to pause the video there and put up some new groups. Okay, so this time, instead of Numicon, I'm using base 10. So remember, each of these sticks is worth 10. So in my first group, how many do I have? If I've got 2 10s, that is 10, 20. In my second group, remember these are equal groups, I have also got 20. And in my third group, again, I also have 20. So there are 3 equal groups of 20. That's the same as saying there are 3 lots of 20. That's also the same as saying there are 3 multiplied by 20. Now, 3 multiplied by 20 is something that we'd probably never actually ask you to do, but using this, we can work it out. So 3 multiplied or times by 20, we can actually work out the answer to that massive question. That is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So you know that now. 3 multiplied by 20 is 60. Wowzers. So moving on now to our warm-up for the lesson. So your first question is, how many counters are there? So we can count them up. We've got 1. Or in fact, let's draw. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if we know that this is 5 here, how many counters have I got in question number 2? I've got 5, 10. And then down here, which representations show us 6? So which representations, which group of squares shows 6? Have a go at counting them up. I might choose this green group here and count them up. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's not 6. So that's not a representation of 6. How about this blue group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That doesn't show me 6 because there's actually more than 6 in that one. How about this yellow group? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. that does show me 6. So that is a representation of 6. So have a think. There's 2 left there for you to work out. And I'll put up the answers in a second. So there you go. There are 3 groups on the screen that show us representations of 6. And we could say there are 3 equal groups of 6. So I have got a picture of some tarts here now. Now, before we count them up, I would like us to talk about the rows and columns. Now, can you remember what is a row? I think a row goes across. I remember in Dragonfly class, we were talking about rowing like this, and rowing, you have your oars out across. So row goes across the picture. And columns are the other way around. Columns go up and down on a picture. So can you show me with your arms? You have a column going up and down. So let's count up the rows. How many tarts do we have in each row? We've got 1, 2, 3. Remember, going across in a row. And in the same row, in the row underneath, we've got the same amount. We've got 1, 2, 3. So let me show you with my pen. That's the row. And this is a row. So we've got 2 rows. How many, though, do we have in each column? Remember, column is up and down. So I've got 2, 2, and 2, because the column now in, let's use a green pen, that's 1 column, that's 1 column, and that's 1 column. So we've got 2 rows and 3 columns. In our rows, we had 3, and in our columns, we have 2 tarts. So we can use this to help us with our multiplication. So again, in this, have a think before I show you the answers. How many in each column? How many cakes in each column? And how many cakes in each row? So we have got 2 in each row. Remember, a row goes across, so we've got 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. How many do we have in each column? Remember, that's going up and down. We've got 5 and 5. So this is what an array is. It is a picture that can help us, that will have rows and columns with equal amount of things in. So in this array, we've got pictures of apples. And in this array, we have 2 rows. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So an array can help us with our multiplication. There we go. 2 rows and 6 columns. So in our rows, this is what's going to help us. We have got 6. So you can see on the screen, it says 6 add 6 equals 12. So I've got 2 rows of 6. If I was to count those up, that gives me 12 in total. Now, have a look at the number sentence underneath. That's not an adding sign. Can you remember what that sign is, that cross sign? What is it? It's a multiplication sign. So we've got 2 multiplied by 6 equals 12. So that 2 here shows me the amount of rows I have, okay? And the 6 here shows me the amount that I have in each row. So that's the same as saying there are 2 groups of 6, or there are 2 lots of 6. 2 multiplied by 6, and that equals 12. We can also change it up, and we can now look at the columns. So instead of 2 groups, how many groups do I have now? Count them up. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups. So 6 columns, so 6 groups. So this time, instead of adding 2 rows of 6, I'm adding 6 columns of 2. So 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. That equals 12. And instead of saying 2 times 6, because there aren't 2 groups of 6, I'm going to say 6 multiplied by 2 because there are 6 equal groups of 2. So have a look at this one. We've now got, say, an array of pairs. How could we split this up into groups? So we could do it in our rows. So how many groups do I have and how many in each row? I've got 2 equal groups of 4. So I can say 4 add 4 equals 6. Or I could use a multiplication sentence and I could say 2 multiplied by 4 equals 8 because there are 2 equal groups of 4. So that's the same as saying 2 multiplied by 4. We then have our columns. So instead of 2 groups, I've now got 4 groups. So I need to add up these 4 groups. So that's 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. Still, same answer equals 8 because we're looking at the same array, the same picture. And instead of saying 2 lots of 4, 2 multiplied by 4, this time I need to say that there are 4 equal groups of 2. So I can say 4 multiplied by 2. Oh, now have a look at this picture. Is there a way of making, at the moment, these groups equal? If I was to do it in columns or in rows, I would not be able to get equal groups. Now remember, equal groups are when we have the same amount of things in each group. I do not have the same amount of things in each row, and I do not have the same amount of pairs in each column. So this tortoise says you can't make an array because 9 is an odd number. But let's have a look. Oh, we've still got the same amount of pairs, still got 9 pairs, but the array has changed. So instead of 2 rows, we now have 3 rows. Have a look. Do we have equal groups now? Could I make equal groups? That's right, I think we can now make equal groups. So you could do it either in rows or columns this time. 3 rows, add 3, add 3. So 3 here, add 3, add 3, equals 9. We know that we've got 9 pairs. That is the same as saying 3 times 3 because we've got 3 equal groups of 3. So you can pause the video now if you want to and have a go at questions 1 to 4 on the worksheet. Or you can carry on, finish the video and then have a go at the worksheet. That is up to you. Okay, so on this slide it asks us to draw an array to represent 5 lots of 3. So we could have it like this. Now, depending how you break this up into groups, this could be 1 group down that row, 1 group down that row, and 1 group down that row. So that's 3 groups of 5. Or we could have it this way, and we might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 3. So both of these arrays show us 5 multiplied by 3. Do you know what 5 multiplied by 3 is? You could either count up in 3s or count up in 5s. I'm going to count up in 5s. I've got 5, 10, 15. So 5 multiplied by 3 equals 15. Now on this slide it asks us, how many different arrays can you build with 16 counters? Now if you want to, you can pause the video and draw it yourself, but I'll go straight into it now. So we could have 1 row of 16, which is the same as saying 1 multiplied by 16 or 16 multiplied by 1. We could have 2 groups of 8, which is the same as saying 2 lots of 8 or 2 multiplied by 8 or 8 multiplied by 2. We could then try 3 lots of something to make 16. But oh dear, have a look here. We can't do it because look at that. Can you see equal groups? I can't see equal groups because we've got 1 left by itself, so we can't write a multiplication for that sum. We could change it around though and make it into groups of 4. So we could then write 4 multiplied by 4. Now have a look here. Remember, you can switch round the numbers when multiplying and it does the same thing. Just like if I was to add, say 1 add 2 equals 3, that's the same as saying 2 add 1 equals 3. We can switch them around. So here I have 16 multiplied by 1, 8 multiplied by 2, and 4 multiplied by 4. Those are the answers that I had for 16 on the last slide. Now have a look here. The arrows show us moving from 16 multiplied by 1 down to 8 multiplied by 2. Okay, so when we are changing our number from 1 to 2, that is doubling. So we're adding 1 add 1, that's what doubling means, adding the same number twice. 1 add 1 equals 2. So that's doubling. While we double that number, we are halving the other number. That means putting it into 2 equal groups. Okay, that's what halving means. So here we go. Here are the 2 groups halving. And then we do the same again from 8 multiplied by 2 to 4 multiplied by 2. We are halving 8 down to 2. 4 and 4, 2 equal groups of 4 makes 8. And we are doubling from the multiplied by 2 to now multiplied by 4. 2 add 2 is 4. Okay, so that's doubling when we add the same number twice. This is going to show me halving. So we're halving the 8 into 4 groups. So what do you see here? I see 2 groups of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 groups of 6. That's the same as saying 2 multiplied by 6. And I know that I can switch those numbers around. So that's the same as saying 6 multiplied by 2. Now this girl says she can see 2 times 6. He can see 6 times 2. This girl can see 3 times 4 and 4 times 3. And this girl can see 1 12 and 12 ones. Have a think. Do you agree with these children? Do you not agree? So here it shows us 2 multiplied by 6. This is 6 multiplied by 2. 3 multiplied by 4. 4 multiplied by 3. And so we can also have what that last girl said. There are 12 ones and 1 lot of 12s. So hopefully that all made sense. If you need some help completing that maths worksheet or you're a little bit confused about something, then make sure you come to one of our live sessions at 11:20 or 2:20. Okay, there you go. See you later.